Welcome to episode 16 of Bonding and Beer. I'm Rolando Nunez, your host, and today we're going to be talking about tales from sales with a very special guest. Let's go, baby! All right, what has Rolando been up to? Well, here at Bisco, we have decided to, do a little bit of a lift to an existing product that is used for veneer cementation. Product is Choice 2. It's going to have a new image. And one of the things that I was able to do through my Instagram account is to, request from my followers clinical cases using Choice 2. So I share a photography protocol, and I've been getting a lot of cases, and these cases are fantastic. They're awesome. But we have to choose one or two that are going to be published in the new brochure. So that is a very cool interaction that I'm having with the followers on my Instagram account. So that's awesome. And I thank everyone who's participated. Stories from my recent travels where, I went with the wife. We traveled to Spain, and on our way back at the airport in Madrid, she said, I want to buy a ham, like a cured ham, whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine. So we buy like a big ham, and it is vacuum sealed. This is inside the airport, okay? They put it in a bag, and we board the plane. We land in Chicago. We're going through immigration, security, and of course, they ask you, anything to declare? And when they see the bag, what's in the bag? And I go like, I have a cured ham. And then the guy in security tells me, it is illegal to bring any sort of meat product and produce and flowers and seeds into the United States of America. And I'm like, I didn't know. Well, the fact that you don't know doesn't mean that this is not illegal. So now all of a sudden I get detained, and they put me in this little room like I'm some sort of criminal because I brought a leg of ham from Spain. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? No, you can't do this. And now we're going to confiscate the ham. Now, I'm sure somebody had that for lunch with, damn good sandwiches. And guess what? Why did this happen? Because I'm listening to the wife asking and requesting dumb stuff. You should not buy stuff at the airport. Don't buy stuff, maybe water, and then you're done because it could be confiscated, okay? So I'm just sharing this with you so you don't make the same mistake I made. Don't be that guy. Don't buy the ham, okay? Now, if you want to know about my travels, if you want about different topics, beer drinking and such, you can follow me on Instagram at Roland Bond. However, most important, you need to follow our Bonding and Beer podcast. You can download our podcast episode from any of the podcast platforms like Apple Music, Google Podcast, and Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram at Bonding and Beer. You can follow us on YouTube, Bonding and Beer. You can send us an email, bondingandbeer@gmail.com, or you can go to our landing page, and the link is in the description. All right, so let's go. Tales from sales. And why are we doing this episode? So one of the things that we're very proud here at Bisco, and this is a very Bisco-oriented episode, okay? And this is just for you guys to learn what we are about. Bisco has a great customer support. These guys are highly trained on restorative dentistry and the use of restorative materials to help and cover and fill any sort of need or solve issues that clinicians may have when performing restorative procedures. They're very, very well trained. Now, our guest today, his name is Brian Rossetti. I've known Brian for a while now. I want to say that probably over a decade, but he will correct me if I'm wrong. Brian is highly trained. Brian he's a guy of many stories. That's why we want to bring him here, so he can share some of those stories with you. But also, Brian is a true example of what a great customer service should be. We're not even going to talk about the sales component of it, because sales is a totally different animal. I'm talking about customer support, building relationship with clinicians, and building that rapport that can actually help, build that bridge between the manufacturer and the clinician. So I think this is going to be a very fun episode. We love Brian, and we are very happy. Jeremy, the producer, and I are very happy that he agreed to come in here and share with us his stories. And, of course, we're going to have a beer with him. So let's crack it open, baby. Let's go. Okay, so we are here with Brian Rossetti. Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I've been, like you said, with Bisco a little over a decade, so we've been buddies for a while.
Yes.
About me, I'm a avid sports fan, huge college football fan, specifically Notre Dame. I don't care if you hate me because I like Notre Dame. They're my team, not your team.
That's okay.
I don't want to brag, but I'm an expert with the crock pot at home. I can make literally anything in my crock pot and cook anything in the crock pot all day, every day.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I did not know that.
I
did not know that.
One of those random skills. And then finally, born and raised here in the Chicago suburbs, lived my whole life here. And most importantly, like you, I like beer.
There we go. Now, hear me out. You were born and raised here in Chicago. Why are you a Notre Dame fan?
Why am I a Notre Dame fan?
Right.
So my family has no affiliation with the university whatsoever.
Okay.
But my grandpa worked for U.S. Steel his whole life.
Yes.
And, back in the 60s and 70s, Gary, Indiana was the steel capital of the world. So one of his employment benefits he got was season tickets to take clients to Notre Dame games.
Okay.
So he would always take his clients to games, and when he didn't have clients, he took, my mom, aunts, and uncles, and then eventually the grandkids when we were old enough to go. So we are what they call sublate alumni, like zero affiliation with the university, but happy to give our money to them and support them.
Oh my dear Lord, that's a great story. So, I know about you being part of the fandom of Notre Dame. So we are going to try a beer that is probably, up your alley. This is a Guinness. I'm going to put it up here. So maybe this is a Guinness that I found, which has a Notre Dame,
there you go.
theme in the can. So here you go. This is a Guinness. This is the most Irish thing you can find. And of course, you got the Irish from Notre Dame. I don't know much about football, college football, or any football. But I do enjoy some of these. I think college football is extremely fun. There is a lot of. I see the stadiums, the bands, the mascot, the pregame stuff, the tailgating.
It's very tribal, for sure.
Extremely. So I do enjoy that. It's a lot of fun to watch. So let's talk a little bit about this beer. This is one of the beers that I have checked in on my app, my beer app, or my beer log called Untapped. No affiliation with Untapped. If you like to drink beer and you like to, give a little bit of a review, write something that, write what you thought about the beer so you can keep a log. That's what I do. This is the beer after Anti-Hero IPA from Revolution. This is the beer that I have checked in the most. Why? I don't know. I just happen to love Guinness. I know this is a stout. I'm not a big fan of stout, but I love Guinness. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. This is made by Guinness Brewery out of Dublin, Ireland. This is a draught stout. This can, if you never had a Guinness before, this can has a little ball inside that helps with the carbonation. If you understand Guinness, or if you ever had a Guinness at a real Irish pub, or a bar that knows how to serve Guinness, it is poured differently. It is poured, the pour is a 2-stage pour. You have to let it settle. There's a whole thing about it. So let's read the description. The description from the brewery. It says, when someone looks at you and says pint, this is the pint they're talking about. If you want something else, you'll have to specify. It's rich, creamy, and it's black. It's everything it promises to be. Every time. It's what we're famous for. And although we love all of our beers just the same, it will always hold a special place in our Guinness draught loving hearts. This is it. So now we're going to pour it, okay? So do you know how to pour this can?
Do I know how to pour it?
Yeah, this has a very special way of pouring it.
I have poured it. I wouldn't say I've perfected it yet.
Okay.
But I have the general idea, yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this simultaneously.
All right.
Okay, so let's just crack it open. Yes. You can hear that fizz coming in there. Let's see what you're going to do there. Yep, he's screwing it up. He's trying his best. Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's going to do a 2-stage pour. That has been poured poorly. This is how you do it, my dear guy. This is how you do it. This is how you do this. You just let it go. You just let it go. And here's the thing. Once you're done with that, you're going to let it settle. You're just going to let it settle. You can't have a sip of this immediately. You're going to have to wait for it to settle. And it's just beautiful. The beer glasses we have, you have to do this on a pint. And on a pint glass. And I don't know what the measurements of our beer glasses is. So we went with the big mugs. But, you know, Brian, show this to the camera. It's looking pretty awesome.
Starting to settle. Looks perfect.
Yeah, we got to wait a little bit. So, you know, let's just wait a little bit for it to settle, and then we can try it. Let's go. Why don't we just give this, you know, cheers, my friend.
Sure, cheers.
And let's give it a shot.
Sip, 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 sip.
So, I mean, it's got the Guinness smell. Do you find any other stout to be even close to a Guinness if you like stouts?
I do like stouts.
You do like stouts.
I know you're an IPA person.
I am.
I'm not going to hate on IPAs, but
Okay.
I prefer stouts.
Okay.
And do I find anything
Similar to that.
You know, Guinness is just so consistent. So
It
has like that feeling of familiarity. So like to me, it's tough to say there's something traditional or always like a Guinness.
It's like, I think Guinness is its own category. It almost feels like that. No disrespect to other stouts, you know. Again, I'm not a big stout person, but I love Guinness. And people tell me, well, you should just drink more stouts if you like Guinness so much. I don't find the same feeling when I have other stouts that what I feel when I drink Guinness. Guinness is just super, super cool. So we are going to give this a review for sure at the end of this episode. So let's go. Okay, so Brian, tell me a little bit about your history with Bisco.
Sure. So I've been with the company for a little over a decade, like you said. I'm part of our customer service sales team.
Okay.
So specifically what that means is I do have a territory I work.
What territory is that?
Sure. So my territory, I actually handle the 6 New England states.
Okay.
So I have Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut.
Okay.
So I'm offering...
No New York, though.
No New York. No.
So the New Yorkers don't think they're part of New England.
No.
Even though they're like immersed in that same area.
They're mid-Atlantic.
It's a little different now.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, with my role here, I'm a senior rep. So what that means is I help the newer reps with technical phone calls they might receive on a regular basis to make sure we're getting doctors proper answers on how to use our products correctly and the functions of our products. Part of that also is I help the newer reps with our systems, from like our order entry systems to our ERP systems, just, you know, knowing the ins and outs so they can be as efficient as possible using our systems, so they're actually benefit using those systems rather than a detriment.
Do we got a lot of phone calls, technical phone calls?
We do, yeah.
We do. So, and those technical phone calls, are they only related to Bisco products or related to procedures?
So, it's a wide variety. We'll get technical phone calls on Bisco products specifically. We'll get products on material selection, like some of the episodes you had about like was there Coney or Emax, what might be right for the certain case in my office, to general procedures. Do you think I need a full coverage crown here, whatever the case might be for an individual situation? Obviously, I'm not the clinician. I'm not.
We don't teach dentistry.
I'm not looking at your patient. I don't teach dentistry.
No, we don't teach dentistry.
However, when it comes to how to use the Bisco products, I can definitely teach you on that, and all of our sales team can do that as well too, because like you said, we're extensively trained on how to use our products.
But why did you get to? I don't want to say oversee, but why did you get to provide that support to the new guys? Is it because the experience you've been able to gather over?
Over the years, I've picked up a lot of experience. I've been here for time. I've been trained extensively through different people in the building. I've attended various trade shows to speak with doctors face to face. I've done hands-on lectures. I've done CE courses where we provided support, small study groups. I've been here through various product launches. The product catalog expanded quite a bit in my time being here. So just, all that experience is what's helped me get to the position where I can help provide support.
How many
to the
product
team.
launches have you gone through? Think about it.
I'd say at this point, probably close to 10.
10 products.
Yes.
Have been launched in your tenure.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, of course, you're here to share stories.
No.
So,
then I better take a sip of this first.
Yeah. And you and I talk about all these things all the time. You have stories, I have stories, Bisco related, unrelated, but just by doing the same thing, which is traveling for work, meeting with people, talking to people. So, tell me a couple of stories that from the phone.
From the phone. So, one of the most common things we get on the phone is mispronunciation of Bisco products or things of Bisco.
Okay.
So, obviously, our original product, the All Bond 2 kit, there's
that's OG.
OG original. There is a product in there called dentin enamel resin.
The DE resin.
DE bonding resin.
Yes.
And the number
is it D/E?
It's D/E resin is what it says on the bottle. And the number of people who ask for the dye resin. That's right.
This is the resin to kill you. Oh, I should have said unalive. Sorry. Things are getting out of hand nowadays.
You use the DE resin, you can kill your restoration.
You can. If you say dye, oh my God, cheers, man. That was awesome. Now, the DE resin story, it never gets old.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Sure.
The dye resin. But what else have you gotten lately?
So, as you know, we have the Thera family line where we have TheraCal, Therasem, TheraCal PT, Therabase.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people who, when they call in, they add an extra H in Therasem and they call it TheraChem.
Okay.
And, my thing always is like, well, we do therachemistry. So, you called the right people. We're here to help. You got us.
TheraChem.
So,
oh my dear Lord.
That's another mispronunciation. Another common one. Everything here at Bisco is possible because of Dr. Suh, our founder, president.
Yes.
Does everything.
Yes.
We couldn't do anything without him, but there's a lot of people who are so happy when they meet Dr. Suh on the road, and they want to share their experience of meeting, the man. Yeah. And they'll tell us oh, I know your founder, Dr. Sue. And
totally mispronounced.
It's but yes, he's a wonderful person to meet and he's friendly as can be, but his name is not Sue. So another one we get when I was talking to the other reps, just of ideas, so often people calling to order the 4-pack of TheraCal.
TheraCal comes in a 4-pack and also comes in a single
syringe. Yes.
Single syringe, yeah.
But the 4-pack's obviously much more the bigger user.
Yeah. More cost effective and whatnot. Yeah.
Exactly. So a lot of times people will call in and they'll be like, I want the 4-pack of TheraCal. Remind me, how many syringes come in the 4-pack
Oh,
again?
my dear Lord. Okay.
Well, it's 4. That's why it's the 4-pack. But
Yeah. Now, do you get a lot of questions about, because we're always running a promotion. Do you get a lot of questions about discounts and whatnot?
yeah, we get questions on discounts. We do a lot of different promotions,
There's always something going on.
but always, but no matter what's going on, it's never the right promotion to the person who's buying the product at that time.
How's that?
They'll call in and ask, well, that's not good enough. Can you do like a buy one, get one free? Or can you do
A BOGO, yeah.
or can you do, I don't want a Theracal and Therasum. I want a Theracal and All-Bond promotion.
Oh, okay. So they want to tailor whatever promotion is going on.
Yeah, I understand. And, that's part of where I try and use my position to let doctors know, when I am calling or emailing your office like you request me to do, I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm working with you to let you know, like, I have something which is of value to you because I know you use these products and you might be interested right now in this promotion we have going on, opposed to, I want to be here to be your partner and help you the best I can.
Right. Now, of all the questions you've gotten regarding, technical stuff, are there any questions that you've been like, I don't have an answer to that? Like at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
Sip, sip.
there's always going to be a situation where we might not have the answers. I mean, whether it's because of a new product going on or, the situation of what you're using I'm not familiar with. But when those questions come about, we have the tools and resources in this building to get the answers for that. And what I mean is, when you call Bisco, and you're calling our customer service team, you're calling Bisco employees who work in the same building where Bisco products are made. Even if you can't get an answer immediately on the phone,
You will get an answer.
you will get the proper answer because we have the
Yeah.
support in-house to
Yeah.
help one another out.
That's kind of like the message that I wanted to emphasize is that it's a totally different story when you're a direct company. And I understand the benefits of buying things through the big distributors, the big outlets, like Shine and Patterson and whatnot, and that's fine because you can basically get everything, and it's like a one-stop shop. But when people call us and when people purchase our products and call us, we will definitely go the extra mile to help them solve their issues, and that's the beauty of what you guys do. I have a lot of respect for what you do, and it's just insane the amount of questions we get, and it's insane the amount of good support that we provide. Now, you not only do phone stuff, that's your everyday gig,
Sure.
correct? But you mentioned that you go to trade shows.
Correct.
So when you go to a trade show, what's the setup? How does Bisco approach the sales ordeal on a trade show?
Sure. So, I mean, there's a variety of shows we could go to based upon the size of the show, location of the show. It could be something from like an actual convention trade show down to you're in a lecture hall, classroom type setting. The one thing we really stress is we have to focus on the things we can control the best we can.
Right.
Like you mentioned before, anything can happen when you travel. I mean, I'm not making this up. Like in my time here, there's been a tornado at the Hinman Dental Meeting in Atlanta.
Yes.
There's been multiple blizzards in Boston at Yankee.
Yes.
We got in a car accident on the way to the airport last year at Greater New York.
Yes.
And so
yes.
there's so much we can't control. We focus really hard on the little things we can control, from our booth presentation. Are we there attentive, ready to help customers or doctors when they walk by, to what products we're focusing on at that specific meeting, to maybe even knowing what lecturers are speaking that meeting who might be talking about, high aesthetic veneer type cases. So, okay, now we're looking for doctors possibly who might have been at the veneer meeting to talk more about veneer cements rather than cutting off core, crowns and core buildups. So
Right. So you need to customize your approach based upon what is being sponsored and presented and all that stuff.
And we have to be good at delivering on the things we can control.
Right. Right.
Because there's so many things that we can't control. At a
Now,
specific meeting.
I got to tell you, I hate traveling. Hate it. I love what happens after
sure.
I get to the stage.
Sure.
If I'm going to lecture, once I get on the stage, I enjoy it very much. But the whole travel ordeal, going through the airport security, taking away the ham, all that stuff, I hate it. Now, how do you feel about travel?
So I enjoy it. I enjoy getting out because it's the best chance for me to be face to face with my doctors and meet them. So I get that additional element of human interaction with them that I don't get over the phone. Mm-hmm. But obviously there are some headaches. Packing can always be a nightmare, having clothes ready. One story from the road that pops up, when you travel, things get wrinkled in your suitcase and
you need to iron.
You need to iron them. Well, there was one time I was at a meeting and my hotel room didn't have an iron. So I decided I could put my shirt on a hanger.
Yes.
Hang it in the shower.
And turn on the
water.
The water.
And just lightly steam it.
The hot water.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought I would steam my shirt.
Sure. We've all done that.
Yeah. Well, yes. But however, I had to go finish setting up the booth.
Okay.
So I forgot my shirt was steaming.
Oh, my God.
So
you left the room.
I left the room.
For how long?
Well, that's debatable. So the wallpaper didn't come off the walls.
Oh my God!
But when I came back and opened the door, I was hit with a blast of sauna air.
Oh my dear Lord! Was the bed wet?
It was a big room, so the bed didn't get wet. It wasn't damp. But yes.
My God! Oh my God! Now you have your phone stories, and then you have your travel stories. But of course, the personal stories are the best because, you're exposing yourself out there. And sometimes you're vulnerable.
Sure.
Sometimes you're vulnerable. You are, by yourself. Sometimes you're walking down the street because you need to get to the hotel and there are no cabs or Uber doesn't work or whatever. So do you have any stories about that?
Yeah, there's one that really sticks out. So this was back in 2021. I was flying home from a small meeting. I was there by myself. And it was a smaller airport, and I had some time to kill before I got on the plane, so I decided to go into the bar to have a beer because I had time to waste. And the person working at the airport lounge asked me if I was, going home or going on vacation. I said, I'm going home to Chicago. And this individual was like, oh, that group of girls over there, they're going to Chicago for a bachelorette party.
How many were there?
There were like 5 or 6 of them, and they were dressed way too nice to be at this airport. You could tell they were definitely.
What airport was this?
I was in Buffalo.
Buffalo.
In early November. So it was snow jackets should have been mandatory, but they were dressed like they were dressed like they were coming from Vegas or something.
Okay. Were they rowdy?
Not yet. but they were having a pre-flight cocktail.
Yeah, they were having fun. Yes.
So, naturally the bartender introduces us and they're like, asking me about restaurant recommendations for their bachelorette party in Chicago or places to go. So,
okay, yeah. Okay.
Small conversation. And now it's time to board the airplane. And as we're getting on the airplane, we're waiting down the jet bridge and there's no more overhead space because it's all filled. So they're going to do the gate check where, they take your bags at the jet bridge.
Yeah.
They put them on the plane. They'll be at the jet bridge when you get off. So they're way up in one spot of the plane. I'm way back in the other spot. Whatever. It's the 2.5-hour flight home. We get home and we're all waiting on the jet bridge and they're bringing up luggage. And the one woman or girl, she grabs a suitcase that looks like mine and they all start walking out. And I stopped them and I was like, wait, you have my bag. And she looks down and she realizes it wasn't her bag, it was my bag. So she gives it to me. She gets her bag and her friends start walking off and they're like, oh my God, you almost had small guy stuff.
Small guy!
And they started laughing hysterically. But but
did he acknowledge that you were standing right there?
They didn't care. But this is where it gets really funny because so finally when I was done laughing that, I'm walking to the airport with my bag and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, they called me small guy, and they all laughed, and they knew who they were talking about. I'm like, were they talking about me in the airplane?
They're already giving you a name.
Yeah, so-
You were a small guy.
So I was like, were they talking about me in the airplane?
Of course.
And I was like, and then it registered they were, and I was like, still got it.
Yes.
Still got it.
Like, you know, cheers to that. I don't care how you call me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll take it how you.
I'll take your attention. I'm married. I'll take
Absolutely, absolutely. You were a small guy. That is so great. That is such a great story, Brian. That will never, ever get old. All right, man. So, okay, before we do the beer review, I have to provide some tips about, this episode, which has been extremely entertaining. I really appreciate you being here. So, the first thing I want to say, road tip number 1, come here. Bisco is direct. And by being direct, allows for any customer to make a phone call and somebody within the building where all the Bisco workers are. Every single one that works for Bisco is in one building, right? You can call, you can, request the information, and if the person that you talk to doesn't have the answer, which is not necessarily something common, we will find it for you. That person knows what resources to use to find that information and to give it to you as quick as possible so we can, take care of that issue, right? The number 2 road tip that I want to share is that customer support is a very important part of who we are, and it is a strength. I believe that the people that work here, that anyone who's involved in customer support and sales are extremely knowledgeable. We know people that have gone to other companies, and it's pretty much a plug and play.
Yep.
Because they know so much, of our restorative dentistry that they can take that, that knowledge and just apply pretty much whatever they go. So, our training is extremely thorough. And I'm sure you have to probably train guys on the spot every day, right?
It's part of the job, exactly.
It's part of the job. Again, this is an episode that is a Bisco episode, but this is our 16th episode, and this is the first time that we talk about the company per se, because we want to keep it clean. We want to talk about restorative dentistry, but I think it's important for people to know where this is coming from, where this is being produced, and by whom. And we all share, Jeremy, the producer, you and I share the fact that we all work for this great company. We enjoy being here. And, this company allows for us to generate stories, right? Now, Brian, what do you think about this Guinness?
What do I think about it? I think it's delicious.
You think it's delicious. I think that this beer is one of those things that it just hits different. Like you said, whenever I'm not in the mood of being like an explorer, I know where to go. And I always have Guinness in my fridge.
I agree.
Always have Guinness in my fridge, because I know that if for some odd reason I'm not in the mood to try the new fruity IPA, I just grab a Guinness and I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say it feels like home. When you're talking about your travel stories, you hate the concept of traveling, but you love the idea of being there. And when you get home, you know what you're going to get when you come home. You know what your house is going to look like when you get home.
Yes.
You know the temperature of your house.
Your bed.
Your bed. You have that feeling of comfort. And that's how I can relate a Guinness. It's that feeling of comfort. You know what you're going to get. You know what you're getting yourself into. It's consistent, and it's not going to let you down.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And here's the other thing. For the most part, you can have a Guinness pretty much anywhere in the world, and it's always going, maybe in some places will be better because it's better poured, but it's like,
sure,
it's there. It just hits different. Did it match the brewery description? Oh, 100%. It is creamy. It is black. It is everything it promised to be every single time. Consistent. So if you haven't had a beer, come here. If you haven't had a Guinness, give it a shot. Give it an opportunity. I will highly recommend that if you go to a pub, to a bar, and they have Guinness, you order one. Give it a shot. Just give it a try. You could be surprised. and you could find something that you didn't know that you would like, and fall in love with it. What is your favorite pub to go to get some Guinness?
Back home, Peggy Kinnea's. It's a good Irish pub. They know how to pour it.
That's in Arlington Heights.
Yes.
It is so good.
It's real good.
That is so good. Have you ever been to, we're not affiliated with Peggy's, but have you ever gone to Fido's downtown?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That is, to me, one of the best Guinness you can get in Chicago.
I agree.
You know, it's so great. But there are so many, there's always an Irish pub everywhere in America, I want to say. Find your Irish pub, get a Guinness, enjoy it. Now, we're going to have to give this one a score.
Okay.
So from 1 to 5, and you can do fractions, you know.
Yeah,
like
okay,
that's
perfect,
What
okay.
would you give this guy?
I give Guinness a 4.5. Like an A rating always.
Okay, so you give it 4.5. Look, due to the fact that it is my second most reviewed beer, checked in beer in my Untapped app, I'm going to give this guy a 4.95
Wow.
just because I gave 5 to my anti-hero IPA favorite. But this is a 4.95 above all the other IPAs that I've ever had. This is a fantastic beer. It's a beautiful beer. And, you know, Jeremy, the producer, always asks me, hey, make sure you mention what would be a perfect, you know, scenario to have this beer, you know, whether it's like pizza or a burger, you know, what would you pair it with? With good friends.
Perfect.
With good friends. This is the perfect pair. And if we were at a bar, it will be even better. You know, if we were at a bar, it will be even better. Okay, so it's Q&A session, Brian. So, again, follow. You can follow us on Instagram, Bonding and Beer. You can follow us on YouTube, Bonding and Beer. You can send us an email with a question, recommendation, bondingandbeer@gmail.com. There is a website that you can visit, a landing page that you can visit. It's in the description. The link is in the description. You can see all the beers we've had there. You can see the reviews. You can see you can see the episodes. There are links to the episodes. There are links to the different podcast platforms. You can leave a question, whatever you want. There are so many different ways that you guys can contact us. So here's the first question from Dr. April Machado. I cannot find Bisco products on Henry Schein or Patterson. Why? You want to take a crack at that one?
Sure. So the reason our products are not on Schein or Patterson, the common theme from earlier in the episode is we are a direct company. So we are the only people who make Bisco products. We are the only people who sell Bisco products. So we are going to be a part of your product journey from conception all the way to the life of that product and the use of that product in your hands. You're always going to be dealing with Bisco directly, so we take pride in that.
So if they call Patterson or Schein and ask about a Bisco product, they're not going to get an answer.
They're not going to get an answer, no.
No, they're not.
I mean, you want me to give you a quick story like
Yeah,
this?
go right ahead.
Okay, I know you have an iPhone, right?
I do.
And I'm sure you've been inside of a Walmart, right?
I have,
And
yes.
there's probably, 200 shelves, 3 stories high,
Yeah.
that sell everything from birdseed to motor oil to toilet paper, you name it, right?
Right.
How many products do you think Walmart sells?
You know, whatever number I say, I'm going to be wrong. But I want to say maybe 700,000.
Okay, and one of those products you can buy at Walmart is your iPhone.
Yes.
But when you have questions about your iPhone's uses, how to troubleshoot it, its functions,
You got to call Apple.
you go to the Apple store because you want to work with the experts who work for the company that make iPhones.
Right.
So that's like us here at Bisco. You know, we are the experts on all things Bisco. So when you have an issue with a product or you want to know more about how to use your product, you call us. We're the experts. That's the benefit of working with a direct company like
Love
this.
it. Love that answer. Now, here's another question from Dr. Monica Lenz. How do I find the name of my account rep based on my location?
Sure, that's a good question too. So the most basic answer is just call in. So our phone system is set up that it identifies the area code.
Area code, so it goes to the territory.
It's routed to the territory. Yes.
So it will be like, it most likely, whoever answers the phone is in charge of your territory.
Correct. I mean, there's some outliers, like if they're out of town for work or on vacation or in a meeting, you'll then be routed to another customer sales service rep. who's highly trained. We all work together, so we'd be happy to provide that customer service for you to help you with whatever's going on. And then also we can make that introduction to your rep, so you know who your rep is next time you call in and how to reach them directly as well too.
All right. So here's our last question from Dr. Laura Matheson. Oh, we got 3 lady doctors here.
Okay.
Well, so that's interesting. Has Rolando ever thought about getting into the world of sales? That's a great question. Let me tell you something. Come here. I don't earn commission. 0 commission. Today, I asked for a promotion, and they gave me a beanie. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I asked my boss, hey, I think it's time for my promotion. And she said, no promotion for you, but here's a beanie. And she knows I love beanies, so I left the office completely I was satisfied with what she provided. She's known me for 27 years, so she knows, which keys to press. I don't think I could do what Brian does. I am very good at talking with people one-on-one for a long period of time. That's not sales. They need to make a gazillion amount of phone calls in a day, be rejected a gazillion amount of times in a day, because they will not get through. They won't be able to talk to the doctor. They will talk to somebody who has absolutely no power to make any decision, but maybe 2 or 3 times you will be successful.
Correct.
Right? And those 3 times they have to make it worthwhile. And then, of course, when they go to a trade show, the window of opportunity is a little longer. So maybe they get 2 or 3 minutes with somebody instead of, just a phone call. And even then, they're able to make a living out of this. I couldn't do that. I don't have the stomach to be rejected, several hundred times in a week. I just can't do it. I did try it. There was a guy who used to work here. He was the manager of domestic sales years. You probably heard stories about this guy. His name was Craig Elliott.
Okay.
And Craig Elliott told me the best way to understand this company is to work in every department, at least for a little bit. So you know what they're doing, you know the struggles they go through, and that way you can you can feel empathy for the people whenever they struggle, because you know what they're going through. So he did give me a phone and a list of phone numbers, and he said, these are cold calls. And I was there for probably 4 hours. And I said, no, I can't do it. So, no, I don't think I will make a very good salesperson. I think I can talk about the products. I think I can talk about restorative dentistry, but I don't think I can make a living out of sales. So I respect these guys tremendously. I appreciate what they do, and they bring home the bread. So, and everybody in the company benefits from what we all do. I go and lecture in a place, and Brian is right behind me taking orders, making sure that if people have any questions, he answers the questions. If he doesn't have the answer, which I don't recall the last time that Brian reached out to answer anything, but I'm right there. He knows I'm a resource, so it's teamwork. This podcast wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Jeremy, the producer.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So you guys are getting this information because of Jeremy, the producer. So it's time to wrap it up. Be sure to like, to comment, to subscribe, and to follow. Next time, we're going to be talking about polymerization. Okay? We're going to talk about light-activated polymerization, self-activated polymerization, and dual-cure-activated polymerization. What are the differences? How does it work? Why is it important? If you have any questions, send us your questions so we can bring them up at the end of the episode. This is a wrap. Brian,
hey,
you are the man. I love having you around. It's always great. And have a Guinness, okay? Don't beat that guy. Notre Dame. Let's go Irish. And I'm gonna have to say that shit again. Okay, let me just keep rolling. Okay, I already danced, so you can clip that, right? Okay. What has Rolando been up to?